Hi, and welcome to Together, the podcast where we dive into the art and the practice of sacred relationship, where we map out the together way, the sacred we. Today's episode, we're going over when the masculine can't hold and the feminine doesn't feel safe, birthing the healthy blueprint for humanity.
Together.
And the 3 points that we're going to hit in this episode are, number 1, the feminine as life force. 2, the masculine as safe ground. And lastly, co-creating the new healthy blueprint. What's the bonus that they're going to get if they stick till the end?
Yeah, and if you hang out with us till the end, we are then going to give you a 3-step process of how you and your partner can start to put this into practice in your daily life right now for birthing the healthy new blueprint in your life to step into that service for humanity in your daily life. And where we do deepen this work together, Mike and I, is in our Together community, our online community. It's full of couples who are wanting to birth a new way of being in relationship, in family, and to do that through learning the art of relationship. And so in that space, you get live support from us, you get access to a portal of resources, you get coaching, and you get to feel the energy of other couples that are showing up in relationship and in the world in this way. And it's inspiring, it's enlivening, it helps us feel, all of us, that next possibility of the love we can live.
Yeah, what's brought me so much joy is getting to witness and experience who you get to become in this container. The relationships that we've watched where it's like at the beginning where it was even difficult to make eye contact. And now when we're looking at the calls, we're seeing these couples who just automatically are leaning in more. There's these juicy kisses and welcomings and so much clarity in what their shared vision and mission is. It's just been incredible to watch. And so if you're in that place where you really want to become that couple that inspires other people, that moves other people in the way that you relate, then that's the place for you. If you scroll down in the show notes, there's a link in there, and it'll take you through all the steps. Okay, so this first piece of the feminine as life force.
I'm excited for Mike to share about this because it's so sexy when he talks about this.
And it's like, I wish you could be in the room because I actually have chills through my entire body, like goosebumps down to my toes when I even touch this piece, because this, as complete understanding this and experiencing this in an embodied way, relationally, has completely transformed my life. I used to think that me as the masculine is that it's my job to create the new vision for humanity, that it's, the world that I want to live in, it's me building it. And that's half of the truth. And what's been so enjoyable being in relationship with you is me getting the experience of being initiated as a man. What I've noticed is the more that I can develop emotional maturity and hold space for you and the oracle, I notice what you awaken inside of me, what you start to orient me to, is what the actual healthy blueprint for not just humanity is, but trickling down to my own personal interest. We all, there's that part of us that's so self-focused. The benefit that I've received is that you have been able to highlight my blind spots, places where I'm playing small, where you can see a few steps down the road of the man that I'm actually here to be and become. And what I've noticed is if I can sit in my right role and create the container or the safety and the protection for you to really bring the essence of you as the feminine, like the cosmic mother, honoring that you have a womb, you are the embodiment of life itself. You are the only embodiment, or you are the embodiment in this dynamic of male female that can birth. And I've experienced that in our relationship where you have birthed so many blueprints for me to follow as a man, but for us to follow as a family and integrate together. It's initiated me into an access point of so much more of my own wisdom that's my role and where they get to come together.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is where we're talking about the feminine as life force and the oracle. And first, I want to say we all have masculine and feminine in us. So what we're going to talk about today, we all have that energetically. And again, if you are an avid listener, you know we talk about this. We're speaking both about the energetics, but also about the physiological difference of what is wired into our bodies and our beings if we are in a body that is masculine versus feminine. And within that biology, you know, of having a womb, having a yoni, having ovaries, having certain hormones and certain ways your brain is wired, there will be a whole spectrum of what that feminine looks like, but there's still certain qualities that are alive because of that physiology and because of the sacred role that the feminine plays in actually birthing life. And this will be there whether you actually are a mama, whether you want to be a mama, or whether you don't want to be a mama, but it's still shaping how you see the world and how you are in relationship, because we're a part of nature. We're a part of the whole system. And each of us is holding certain medicine and certain information about the whole in our vessels, in our bodies. And so the thing that I want to attune you to right now about the oracle, right? And this is like so key. And I just got back from Earth Daughters Festival and I got to experience this in real time where the elder Jane Collins, super powerful woman, calls all the women that are on their moon, all the women that have their moon time into the center of the space. So all these women, right? Hundreds of women gather in the middle and all the other women are around. And she says, you know, right now, these are the women that are the closest to the veil. They're the women that have the most information about what's being needed to be seen about our village right now. These are the women that we need to be consulting and leaning into and asking, what are you seeing? What are you feeling? And it was so powerful. Like I'm getting chills through my whole body to have that honored, to have that seen. And I wasn't on my moon. I was actually ovulating. So I was in a different energy, but to feel right, that's who I need to lean into right now, you know, was so powerful. And this is the thing to understand is women are going through these cycles, you know, in their womb, and just that cycle itself hormonally attunes us in a much deeper way to the subtleties of life, to the information that's beyond the everyday obvious. It takes us deep into the realm of getting downloads, getting clarity. Like the womb not only births children, but it births creations, energetic creations. It gathers energy in our bodies to then move the energy in us, but also around us. The womb holds the people around us too. And it's an energy system, right? It's an energy system that's charged with this energy. And that means that we have this powerful tool that it's not just in service to ourselves, it's in service to our partnership, it's in service to our family, it's in service to our village. And this is an aspect and a huge piece of what it is to be the oracle, you know, and it's also super powerful to attune to as women move from, you know, that early maiden time and move through their moon. And maybe they even actually birth children and go through those physiological changes. When you have a baby, when you give birth, when you're in that postpartum time, you're extra amplified into the oracle. You know, your synapses in your brain are more open and you can feel the past is more alive in your body and you can see things. You can feel the pulse of the earth more. Like it's meant to be that way, you know? And then just to orient us even later in life, once women have gone through these initiations, and even when they go through menopause and they lose their moon, they now are taking all of that oracle wisdom, and now they're becoming more potent in their eldership and in their ability. It's like they're more unfuckable with. They're more in their seat. And this is sort of the arc of the feminine, you know? And in that, We have information that our partners need. And that is the oracle. This is what we're talking about life force, you know? And the thing about it is so many women, have been disconnected from that aspect. You know, it was interesting at Earth Daughters, here's all these women flocking. And what were people the most interested in was womb work. And what was the most shut down in most women was their wombs and their yonis and this like powerful portal that makes us unique, you know? And as women are reclaiming this and as they're finding it, the next step is, we need to learn to trust this oracle, to listen to it, to attune to it, to know that what we're feeling, what we're seeing, what we're sensing is important information, and we need to bring it to our partner, whether it's about parenting, whether it's about our home, whether it's about something that needs to shift in our daily life, whether it's something that's needed in our relationship.
Raising Cedar.
Yeah, our child, totally. There's so many layers. So as women though, you know, and check in with yourself right now. Do you value that oracle in you? Did you know you have an oracle in you? And also, did you realize that what you are discovering in those realms is highly valuable and very needed by the men in your life, because you're attuning to something that they can't experience in the same way? They have their own wisdom, but in a different way. And this is part of our sacred role, is not only to have our own relationship with it, but to learn how to communicate about it and bring it to the masculine. You know, a really common thing that women, you know, let's jam on this, Mike, but that when I'm working with women in the containers, the one-on-one work, it comes up in the community calls too, is women can feel frustrated where they feel like the men aren't attuning in the same way to what's happening for the children. Like, like this frustration, like, I have to tell him, hey, I'm noticing this about our son. I'm noticing that he's needing you to guide him more in how to treat the feminine. Or, hey, I'm noticing, I reached out to you the other day and I said, I'm noticing, I think Cedar needs to spend time with you and another dad and another little boy. And this was just a vision I was shown, because he spends so much time with me and my sisters and their daughters. And I was something about it. I was like, he's needing other experiences to widen that, but so many women can have like resentment about that or be angry about it or think like, why is he not noticing that? What kind of a dad is he?
How could you not know that?
How could you not know that? And there's like so much anger and resentment. But the thing is like, they're not wired the same. They don't, like, we're getting all this information and it's so obvious, but we're wired for it. And we're literally hardwired to feel into that. And so it's not to be angry at him for not knowing. It's to be like, I need to deliver this message. I need to share it. And I need to deeply, trust that it has value.
I can feel Alison Armstrong enter the room.
Yeah.
This is my favorite description that she lays out, because a lot of her work is really highlighting how different we are as man and woman, like in that biology.
And of course, there's a spectrum.
There's a spectrum within there. We're just speaking to that biological piece, and how it expresses is so unique, and we want that. It's, Mm-hmm. But what she described is this place where so many women unconsciously will project and think that men are just hairy women.
And they're doing
they suck at it.
Yeah, they're doing a bad job at it. You're doing a bad job of being a woman.
Look at this big hairy woman who's just shit in the bed. She is not doing it well. And it's like, we're not women. We have different programming. Our neurology is different. Everything about us is different in the biological sense in these bodies. And there's an honoring of that.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I just orient, we're going to probably do a full episode on the Oracle, but I just want to share, like, my experience of the Oracle here has been this part of you that is such a gift when it enters the space. It's such a gift when it enters our home, when our relationship. And I want to describe it a little bit in like my felt sense, because yeah, there's all the other crunchy, crispy bits that are there too. But there's this place, if I can play out my role well, there's a place where this like really divine wisdom and truth enters the field, and it shakes loose and shakes free any delusions or um, inadequacies of like more coherence or connection. It's like, it's just, it's this experience where my body doesn't, like, I almost don't know why all of a sudden I feel calm and relaxed, and where there's some part of me that says, Mike, pay attention. Like, listen, like really listen to this. Like, it's this energy that comes in, and there's going to be some sort of gold in there if I can really understand what's coming through it.
Yeah. And what a journey it is the feminine to realize that there's value to it, because patriarchy, you know, really shut that down. I know for me, I had a very online oracle as a teenager, and I just got like beat up about it by the masculine around me. But it's funny because I could tell they liked it too. That was the ironic thing. Like, there's a part, but then just not knowing how to honor it or how to hear it. So, you know, this is the classic, like, over emotional feminine, you know, this kind of thing. And I know for me, it's been such a journey to learn to discern inside when I'm feeling, when I have my moon especially, but the rest of the month too, when I'm feeling angry about something, when I'm feeling sad about something, when I'm feeling annoyed about something, when I'm wishing something was a different way, when I'm longing for something, all of those things, are my responsibility to tend to, not to dump it. But as I'm listening, like, they're telling me a map. They're saying, hey, something's off here. Whoa, I think we need to have a boundary here. Hey, whoa, like, something's not quite feeling right. Hey, like, oh, wow, we're getting a little bit too far away. Like, there's not enough love here. Or, you know, like, oh, there's a higher version of something that could be happening here. And learning to listen to the map. Like, the feelings are the map. Those waves of emotion are the map. And then for me, it's been about me just really deeply being like, wow, this is like the goddess in me. It's the sacred map in me. And I'm listening, and then this art of moving towards you and learning how to say, hey, I have something I need to share. Hey, I'm having something I need to put words to. Hey, and the whole range of, like, sometimes it's like in this sweet moment where we're like eating dinner together and there's lots of connection and space, and I deliver it and you're like, wow, and we're in this. And then other times it's like, you don't have time and you're in a frustration and blah, 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 but I need to deliver it and it's crunchy and it's like, I still need to deliver it. And the learning how to keep trusting that oracle and letting her speak. And, you know, yeah.
Well, it just makes me laugh because there's this like really romanticized version of the oracle who's like graceful and spacious and really compassionate, and I love that part. And there's another version that's equally as valuable, and it's the one that I've experienced from you of like fierce, and it's like, you know, you're a Scorpio, and I hope it's okay to joke in this way, but I'll experience it like I'm just getting venom just like thrown at me, but I'm always grateful. It's like always after, it's almost like when I actually contemplate and reflect from my own seat, and I start to contemplate what happened there, I'm like, wow, that shadow in me or that blind spot's so big and it's so patterned in that it actually had to get that fierce, or it had to be said in that way. And like, yeah, let's massage out the edges and like work on a little bit more, you know, compassionate delivery. And in its evolution, I've noticed there's still wisdom in it. There's all these women that I see that are in this like fierce feminine, that there is a wisdom in it. Like, there's some places where it's like, yeah, there's some personal work to do in there, and like, you learn how to like hold that little girl and the expression of it. But there's almost always a wisdom in the fierceness of the feminine. It's like the oracle being like, this isn't okay what's happening. Something needs to change here. Let's look at it together. Like, that's what I love about the oracle energy. It's actually advocating for more harmony. It's advocating for more peace, more efficiency, more connection. And it's so helpful.
We had an experience recently where I was feeling into something that felt like it was threatening the safety of our family field. And so Mike updated me on something, and then my body was just like contraction. Then I spent a night just deeply tuning in, like feeling through it. Is this just my material? And then I was like, no, like my oracle got clear. There is definitely something that's not feeling good about this. And there was this rage in me, and in my life, I'm sure, show of hands, all of us could, like, I will instantly judge rage. It's like rage is bad, not good, right? So I can hear this part inside of me that's like judging myself for the rage, right?
Or I will too.
Yeah, everybody
the masculine will too.
Everybody. And I know for me, like when I was a teenager, especially, and when I was little, when I would let that rage express in some way, it's like instantly that becomes proof of how irrational you are as the feminine, right? Like instantly. And now all of a sudden you have no credibility, right? Instead of like, oh, I wonder what she's like, there must be something that's really threatening. And so I listened deep inside and I was like, no, this rage is because I'm like, this is a threat to our family field, and I'm not feeling heard about it.
And our values and what we stand for. And
I was feeling protective and of our relationship, and also, and I was feeling not heard because, I had tried to express it and you were trying to get what I was saying, but you weren't quite getting what I was saying. Right. And so then it was like, you were coming back and trying to be like, okay, but I was like, he's not getting it. So there's this moment, okay, I'm sitting in the car and I'm feeling this. I'm feeling the self-judgment. There's this contraction in my belly. I'm like enraged. And what's important to understand is I'm not thinking anything negative about Mike. But I am thinking like, how do I deliver this message? And there was this choice point, like either I shut it down and we go along and, I try to like, I've done this lots in my life, like go along and be the nice girl, go along and just let it go, Courtney, which of course, by the way, I've never been very good at that. So it ends up leaking out my ears or something, it's like, I'm trying to be relaxed about this, and instead I just delivered a download. I sent him a memo and I said, this is what I'm seeing. And I said it pretty fiercely. I said it pretty but I didn't attack you. I just said, this is what I'm seeing. This is what doesn't feel safe. This is what I'm feeling angry about. And this is the story I'm telling myself. And this is what I need. And I just laid it out. And I remember inside telling myself, Courtney, you are feeling and seeing things that he's not feeling and seeing. You're having a pulse on something that he's not aware of. Or maybe he is in some way, but not like he kind of knows something's off, but not in that deeper way. And I was like, this is a part of me, like the feminine, that I can see this. It's my sacred responsibility to deliver this message to Mike. What he decides to do with it is up to Mike or up to us, but it's my sacred responsibility to deliver the message, to let him feel how fierce I feel about it, and also to make sure I'm really clear about it so that he actually gets it, And I think this is the key for the oracles, and we can go into this more in a future episode, but just the key. So many women, they either get stuck at the place where they're like just kind of attacking the masculine, like, how could you not know that? You hurt me, you jerk. I'm so angry at you, like this kind of place.
Shaming, blaming, criticizing.
Yeah.
It's like
you don't love me. You don't care about me. Like it stays there.
Yeah. And just the name, there's a chipping away. There's an energy that's chipping away at the masculine instead of calling the masculine up and forward into the truth.
And it's also, as you're saying that, it's also chipping away at her reputation because you're actually belittling your wisdom. You're taking something that's like life wisdom that's moving through you and you're making it small by being petty.
Dishonoring it. So
really it's about feeling underneath and really feeling, what am I seeing and sensing? And I have worked with so many women, powerful women, that they're in the place of judging themselves for this anger, for the feelings. And then when when they share what's underneath, I'm like, no, you're feeling something. You're actually seeing something that's needed. And they're like, oh, and it's like, so let's speak to that. Like, let's let go of and let's put words to what it is that I am sensing, and let's deliver it as a package that I think I started off as saying something like, my guess is you're confused. You have no idea why I'm angry. You have so many good intentions. You want,
It evolved to that.
Huh?
It didn't start as that.
I'm speaking of this part.
Yes.
I delivered it as the oracle. I started off with a very clear, because I had found the oracle inside.
So, yes, very eloquent, very clear, very orienting to what the big picture of the feeling was. And what was really helpful for me in it was you naming the details and the contours and the context of the thing that I wasn't understanding.
Yeah.
Because there was a place where my immediate, just a name, because in the beginning there was a bit of reactivity in it, and there was a place where I went into defending or kind of deflecting because I didn't fully understand it because I had a blind spot. But then how you delivered it, you being truthful, because what's really important here is I didn't feel you I didn't feel you in oppression. You weren't suppressing your feelings. You were sharing them.
Which I had to work to do that.
I can feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what I'm appreciating. And this is what I'm highlighting is what makes the message receivable is that there's like an adult online in there feeling the feeling and the fury, but delivering it from in like fierce love, advocating for truth, your truth, to consider not as that you're bigger than or your way's right. It's not about you, me, but it's like, whoa, this is what you're seeing. And you named all the layers that needed to be expressed for it to make it past all my defense strategies of, defense strategy of like, oh, I feel shame and small and she's judging and, and then, so the way that you delivered it was firm and fierce and clear. And, we'll go into this in the next section here of like what my process was to do that. But you delivered it with elegance, fierce, clear, but like, oh, this is what I'm upset about. This is the threat to what I'm upset about. This is how it'll impact.
This is what I'm needing you to see.
It was so helpful.
And even not even I have a story about what has to happen about it, but I need you to see this. I need you to get this. And then it helped orient Mike a whole bunch. Suddenly he was seeing layers he hadn't seen. Suddenly he understood what was happening for me. And, really, because you had gone into a story, and I think a lot of men, this is what happens. You thought it was about me attacking you, right? Because when the rage comes on, it's like, that's how it can come across. But really underneath it, it wasn't about attacking you. It was me trying to communicate this threat, this thing.
And I'd say that's the default experience for every man I've ever worked with and sat with and supported. And my own journey that I still have to work out of my nervous system is where the program that runs automatically is the feminine's enraged. It's a personal attack. It's to cut me down, and then I go into self-protection. And what's really helped me orient in this place is if I go into self-protection, I'm now not offering the thing that you need to feel seen and understood and safe to deliver the message. And then the emotion will get even bigger, and that's where it hits like conflict zone and like, gets super messy. Is like I have to really understand that there's going to be something valuable here.
And I have to understand that I'm feeling and sensing something that you're not in the same way. So that I'm not sitting over here being like, well, obviously Mike can sense and see the same thing as me, so he must just be choosing not to care, instead of, oh, I need to update him on what I'm seeing and noticing. And, oh my gosh, what a healing moment so I get home and, I'm feeling tender about like, I'm kind of in this like, oh, Why do I have to see and feel so much? So uncomfortable to deliver this message in truth. And I'm like, and Mike comes in, he walks up to me, such a healing moment. And he's like, hey, I am so grateful for your oracle. I need that. I need you to share these things in that way. I feel so much clearer and aware. I feel more love for you. Like, thank you so much. I need you. And to say that to a woman, like to say to a woman, I need your oracle. I need your intuition. I need what you're sensing about our child. I need what you're sensing about our home, about our relationship. That is so helpful, because then it gives her permission to listen more and to have the courage to bring it forward, And it's this beautiful dance. And the more, Mike, that you attune to, oh, this is the healthy blueprint of humanity, she's attuning me to something, the more I feel like that part of me is not just in service to Courtney, it's in service to our whole family. And then it's in service to the whole. It's like, I'm like listening, and it's like, yeah, how many other women are getting the same message in their womb right now, and how many other women are talking to their partner about this right now. And it's actually a movement that's bigger than just me or just Mike. And it's part of our sacred service.
Oh my God, it's an epidemic. Every woman that I've worked with and supported processes a lot about gaslighting themselves.
Oh, it's huge.
Because we're coming out of the impact of patriarch. Mm-hmm. And so what that ends up looking like is, here's the oracle, get some download, but the message has been, and it's riddled through history. Like the thing that always stands out for me that really helps me understand what we're all together dealing with is they used to burn women at the stake. Mm-hmm. They used to burn quote unquote witches, but how I feel it when I tune into the wisdom in the cells of my being from my ancestors, those witches were women who were courageous enough to express what was coming from the oracle. And then that was too scary and intimidating by men. So they just used power and force to try to smother it out. But it's like, what a gift for humanity that there's now enough protection, there's now enough understanding and resource for this oracle message through collectively women, or the feminine energy in these biological vessels, to be like, yeah, show us where we're misattuning to the planet, in business, in our homes, how we're developing our children. We fucking need that. Like, if we want to live on a planet that's more harmonious and more connected on a global scale, not like, we're privileged up here in North America. There's wars happening right now. Like, our neighbor's family their house was bombed. Like, this is serious. This is about this isn't just relationship now. This is actually advocating for truth and the safety of humanity. We need to sort out these relational dynamics and start dissolving these places and that play out in the patriarchal dynamic, and actually start as the masculine, learn how to be the safe ground so that the oracles can feel held in reverence to bring the thing that's going to get us out of this mess.
Oh, and the best feeling in the world is when I share my oracle, I share that, and then you mobilize around it. Oh, that's the best. And not you do what I say. That's the key. But you take it in and you mobilize around it. You've got this new juicy piece of information. And, just to say, as an example, it's been really sweet. We have a little boy, Cedar, and our friends, Cedar's best friend is a little girl, and they spend a lot of time together, and it's really neat to watch their dynamic. And it's been really cool to just attune to, okay, so what does it look like to hold space for these little children in their role, as they're growing, and without putting anything on them, just watching how there is this dynamic between the little girl and the little boy. And me and my dear friend, when we're with our kiddos, like how do we help the little girl learn how to trust her emotions, to express her emotions? You know, there can be this place where our son is going too fast and a little too intense about something because he's like, let's go. And he's like, yang, and he's like, rah. And then it'll get a little too intense for her. And so what she would do is she'd go into rage, right? Rah! And I could feel both in me, like this kind of like, hey, that's not okay that you're getting so rageful, right? Like that's the collective. And instead, now me and my friend like orienting to, oh, she's trying to communicate something. This is her communicate. She's giving an information about something. How do we slow things down? How do we notice that? How do we encourage her to put words to, I need this to slow down. That doesn't feel good. Like starting to raise little girls in a way that they can protect their emotional body. They can voice themselves. They can express themselves, and that can be welcomed. Like this is the great work.
Yeah.
Like raising the oracle.
Oh my God. Like in empowering the feminine to deliver it in a way that's received. And like, that's our role. And that's what I've been really enjoying for us, you know, getting to be the parents of this power. Our son is powerful. And so we get to learn about power. We get to learn about, you know, it's got so many empowered little, you know, 3-year-old friends.
Oh yeah.
And like how to guide the container for both of the wisdom inside of each of them to be there and to relate in a way that's really being received. That's what I've really been loving, because it's an outside hologram of the reconciliation inside of me, in my body, in my programming, is seeing it right in front of us.
Oh my gosh. Yesterday watching them huckleberry pick, it was just classic. So me and these 2 little 3-year-olds were going to pick huckleberries, and I'm not putting any ideas on them. We're just being, and Cedar is like, where's the next huckleberry bush? We're picking huckleberries. He's looking at his friend. Hey, we're picking huckleberries. Let's go. There's the other bush. Let's get going. Come on. Let's keep moving. Okay. You got it. And she's like, oh, look at this juicy one. Oh, this juicy one. And then, you know, Cedar's like, come on. And so she kind of followed for a bit. And then finally she decided that she just wanted to go away where there was no huckleberry bushes and pretend they were looking for huckleberry bushes. And, oh, is it over there? And is it over here? And she's rolling on the forest floor. And at first Cedar stood there like, this is not like moving forward.
Practical or efficient.
What's going on? And then all of a sudden he's like, and then he got the message, oh, okay, I'm going to join. So he joined her for a while. And then they go into this very like uncontained, like, is it over here? Is it over there? They're rolling, they're climbing trees. It's like they're giggling. There's no structure, no huckleberries to be found. And then after about an hour of this, all of a sudden Cedar was like, okay, we're moving on. And he grabs her hand, pulls her, and takes her to the huckleberry bush. And I was like, oh, they just went through this journey together.
Yeah, that highlights so much of the role, and that never changes. There is a place that I continually experience with you where the allyship is, there's places where you get to guide me into the being and the experience and of life and the texture of it and the attunement of it. And then there's places where I get to like save you from hanging out in the just feeling it all and like guide you out into life. And this is the structure we're learning about and leaning into. And this is the mission we're building and the vision of, you know, and we get to like start to be the allies to like weave together this like really ideal life for our whole family by welcoming those differences.
And how do we allow both, that both are valuable? And I got to see that in these little ones, that both were welcome. They welcomed both, and they both received each other when it was time. Yeah.
Awesome.
So the next point, the masculine is safe ground. So the masculine as safe ground. So this is a big one, and I actually think I'll do a podcast episode on this because I've had a huge journey of this, because I used to be so resistant as letting the masculine be any kind of ground for me, because that would give them But then, what the cool thing about becoming a mom is, right? Is it for me, and I think this is true in our biology, there's a sacred sequence. When we are in the mother, there really is a time where we need the masculine to come in and hold another layer of ground. And this could be another partner. This could be, but we need someone to come in and hold a different kind of energy and a different kind of ground. And I can't tell you how powerful it has been to keep receiving Mike in this and feel him get better and better at figuring out how to be that safe ground. And one of my most favorite examples of this is for a period of time when Cedar was younger, because Mike was plumbing and he had started 2 businesses while we had a baby. He just, like, I'd be putting Cedar to sleep by myself, and I did it. And Cedar is a great sleeper and all of it. But when Mike started to attune to and be able to show up for just coming in and just being there, it wasn't needed, but just being there, just sitting with us, watching me read to Cedar, watching me hold Cedar, and Mike just being there. Maybe he has a hand on my back, maybe he has a hand on my leg, and he's just there. It is like night and day in my body. Because suddenly there's another layer of someone attuning, and the level of safety that comes from you feeling that would help bring more ground is this huge exhale. Like, just that is huge in my body. And this ongoing journey of feeling you, learning what our family field needs for safety, what I need for safety, what our son needs for safety, and feeling you devote to learning about that and showing up for it more and more and more. It is helping my nervous system find more and more ground. It's stabilizing our whole life. And you have so many insights and amazing things you bring in that would never occur to me.
Yeah. This has been the ultimate initiation as a man, is to understand that that's even my role. Like, the thing that brings up so much grief is that that's not even a conversation in homes. And this is why I'm so grateful that this brand of Together birthed through us, so that these are conversations that we get to be a part of, because I can feel how ready and ripe I've always been for the role. I didn't have the guidance. I didn't have the modelship of it. I didn't know that. I didn't understand that in order for me to create an empire, I have to really learn about the energy of leadership. Talk about the ultimate playground, day-to-day practice of learning about leadership, then attuning to the feminine, learning how to be felt in the relationship, and learning how to deeply understand another person's experience that's so different than my own. Like, oh my God, like, it's the most important role as the masculine to learn about, to embody, to get stronger in and more refined in. Because when I look at all my past relationships and this pattern of failed relationships, me running away from them, or they just not, lasting, I look back and I'm like, I wasn't leading well. I wasn't leading myself well because I wasn't taught how to lead myself well, but I also wasn't understanding that in order for me to actually learn how to lead well, the feminine can actually tell me how that process happens. Like, what I've found from you is, in my personal healing, in all these layers, you've given me more of an orientation of development, of all of these things relationally, of like, oh, well, of course you're pissed because of this. And, oh, I'm so focused on the mission and making money that you can't even feel where I am. Like, of course that would be unsettling and feel unsafe. And so this ground of the masculine, this place of the masculine being safe ground, has been game changing, just to understand that's the role. That's the role to learn about. That's the role to figure out. Tongue twisters there.
The role.
It's such an important role. And it's such a fulfilling role once that's understood. Because now, oh, great. You have an abundance of hormones that I don't have. And what I've experienced that as is big emotions. And you are attuning so much, like there's a focal point on the relationship with Cedar, the relationship between us. And there's just a strength that you have about the relational field. What I found with the masculine is often we're so mission oriented of like how to make things more efficient and what to build and how to make more money and provide for my family, just different orientations. And so it's been this learning ground of if I actually care enough to hear and understand what you're inviting me into relationally, everything else is going to go better. And that's what I found. Like when I look at the business that I'm in, I'm like, oh, and everything that's trickled from that, how I'm as a father, what I'm getting to experience inside of my body as the masculine, it's so fulfilling because now I know if you have a wave of experience happening and that touches something in me, that my role is to be the safe ground. Okay, sounds great on paper, but how do I be the safe ground? In this experience you were describing with the thing that came in and that was a threat, when I started to receive the messages of you're upset, before those started to come in, I could feel, there was a rupture, something wasn't okay. So I tuned into the wisdom inside of me. And then I had to sit with myself and feel all the places I wanted to fight and defend my situation and my place in this. I could feel it. And as soon as I dropped into my body, I was like, oh my God, oh yeah, I want to say this and I want to make it about that. My fists would clench and my jaw would tighten. And I'm like, I need help here. I need a reminder of my role here. And thank God I stumbled on one of my mentors and it just reminded me of something I already know, but it was the refresher while I was in an activation of like, right, it's my role to hold the space. I need to downregulate this. There's nothing I'm not actually in danger here. My partner's expressing that there's danger here. I need to be able to hear it. And so I started to pray. I went outside and I laid in the sun. I just watched my thoughts, got back into the place of observation. Oh yeah, all these thoughts and narratives, watch them drift by and okay, God, okay, good. I let go of them. I stopped believing them. Thank God. There's relief. And then I was like, I just need to breathe. I need to ground myself. And I need to intentionally, when I'm going to receive all these messages, relax the muscles of my face, my jaw, soften my gaze so that I can try to hear, so that I can hear, so that I can hear the truth that's through all of what I'm perceiving as a threat. And so I listened to these messages and I would feel soft in my body. I'd be breathing, feet on the ground. And I'd be like, oh yeah, she's pissed. Oh yeah, of course she's pissed about that. And then I would respond you'd say I still don't feel hurt. I even feel more unheard. I'm like, okay, well, that was what was true for me. And I'm not going to abandon that. And this is important. There was places in there. I'm like, well, that is what's true for me. I just don't understand yet. Okay. So keep softening. Don't abandon so far what's true for me. I'm not going to give that up because I'm not going to just be bulldozed of what's true for you. And so then I was like, okay, hang on to that and then keep listening. And then you'd share the next one. Then you'd share the next one. And then something started to reveal. And then something actually started to make sense. And this is huge because me embodying the ingredients of becoming safe ground to actually receive the information, I started to understand what you were saying and what was happening. And then fast forward through this process, you come home. Now we're face to face. It's not audio messages. Now it's like the real work. Not to say this was true for you, but I experienced you at a 10. And I was like, okay.
No, That was me at like a 4.
In my body, it felt like a 10. So I experienced like a 10. And I was like, okay, do the practice, breathe, soften. And what was so cool about it is me being that in touch and in connection to myself, being the safe ground, actually allowed me to just be blasted by your physical presence and what you were sharing. And it was so easy for me to then experience, and this may sound woo-woo, but I feel you annihilate all of the delusions that were my programming. It's almost like there was a virus in there, and then you just obliterated it. And I could actually start to feel something that's been messing up a lot of my relationships my whole life. It's been a blind spot I've had. It's been an impact of like my adoption and not having a secure attachment with my mom that ended up being dangerous in relationships. And I could finally connect to a part of myself that was like, oh my God, this has created such a mess in so many places, and I didn't even realize it.
And that was a nice moment for me. I was like, oh, he gets it.
And then I remember you asking, and then me saying, oh my God, thank you so much. I so get this. And you're like, oh yeah, explain.
Well, I wanted to make sure you really got it.
Which was such a funny point for me, because I felt, and it's like, oh yeah, right. And then I have to reflect it. This is a key point, for the masculine. You actually have to reflect back and lead well in the communication so that it lands as an understanding, like that we actually get it. And so I describe and I shared, and then you're like, oh yeah. And then I could feel where all of a sudden we just reached a new level of intimacy in a really heightened place, because you liberated me from something that would, if that shadow played out in everything I'm putting out in my content and in what I'm creating for my vision, that would have created a big mess. It would have been a distorted message.
That's why I was freaking out.
And this doesn't mean, and this is important to name, because a lot of people I've noticed can get stuck in the place, well, I have to wait till I'm fully healed till I create anything because I don't want to hurt anyone. It's not about that. We deliver from where we're at, and we evolve and we grow and we learn.
And that's why it's helpful to have women oracles around.
It's why it's paramount to have, and I have the oracles around, but also what I'm so passionate about, and this is why I'm birthing the Initiated Man online men's community for the men that really want to be a part of this, is there needs to be a brotherhood where there's embodied masculine willing to say the uncomfortable thing, to start to get to know where there's blind spots and patterns and point them out. We need it from the oracle, and we also need it for brotherhood.
Oh yeah.
This is big work. This is like, look at the state of our planet. These shadows, these blind spots are serious. This is like serious work. And it gets to be fun and playful in the way that we integrate it. Because for me, it was like intense, but it led to like play and fun and pleasure, because it felt so sexy for you to have the strength and the courage to stand your ground in the name of truth that is so serving to our mission, but my mission as an individual, like my experience as a man of like, I'm actually starting to understand what safe ground means in the felt sense. I got to be in a place where I'm not self-protecting so I can actually hear and understand what's coming, to understand for me to feel what gets initiated inside of my truth to come back and relate with. And then from that place, what do we want to do with it?
Yeah. And what I want to say is relating. This is the other thing. Relating with a masculine who gets that his job is to lead his family and to be safe ground in service to the family. Like when you're in that energy, that feels so good. And then if you slide into, or if any masculine is in the energy of thinking that he knows it all, he has all, like this would be what's happened in patriarchy. Like you started off the episode, right? that the masculine thinks like being the leader means he knows it all, he has the template, he knows the way, and he's just going to come in here and tell you how it is. Like women, like that is the worst.
Red flag, danger, danger. That's
Oh, that's the worst. And if you slide into that at all, like if Mike's energy just like slides into that a little bit, my whole being is like tightens, it's like, but even that, even us talking about that is like, what a gift, because if I can communicate when something's feeling off in that place, that's a barometer for you.
Oh, it's the necessary barometer, because so many of us grew up in households where the attunement to the bigger field was missing. There was just a lot of families in our culture. There's so much distress and just like coexisting and codependence that piece was missing. And so what we're inviting now, and this is this third point, the co-creation of the healthy blueprint for humanity is actually getting so in tune with each other and the roles, honoring it, holding reverence for the feminine and praising the feminine. Because the more I've experienced you receive my praise and reverence, you blossom and open to the juice and the golden nuggets of like what I could integrate and lead with, that's going to be safe, that's going to be well received. And we get to do this dance of, well, you get to experience more of your juicy feminine if I actually hold the felt sense of actual safe ground.
Yeah. And I get to feel more ground and more holding for me to be in that more intuitive place when you hold it in a good way. And so we want to talk about how this is like how we're co-creating the new template. And, I always think of this as the sacred sequence. And this sacred sequence lives in our DNA, it lives in our body. And, and it's interesting. There's like the Holy Trinity, right? And this is like baby, mama, papa, and there's this like first sequence, this sequence that happens in our body. That's this layering of holding. And so a child is held in the relational field of the papa and the mama, and they need certain ingredients from each parent. And when the parents can be aware that they each hold a different ingredient, and that there's actually, like, I think of this as it's so much bigger than just like what we think or what we feel. It's literally like the divine intelligence of life that is moving through our DNA, that is like ancient information, that's guided by the stars, that's guided by the earth, that's guided by, it's like all of it coming together through these sacred vessels and expressing in a certain way. And I bet our brains couldn't even fathom how much information we are actually wisely channeling through us in that moment that's needed in order to hold this next little child, in conception, in birth, and growing up. But we also have to understand that is moving through our partner in a different way. And that it's like God is here, God is in you, God is in our child. And it's actually the more we can attune to that and trust that divine orchestration, that the next evolution of humanity can be born through our children. And I know for me, I was getting downloads about what kind of mom I was going to be and step into like years before I conceived Cedar, years before I met you. I remember a light that I understand to be our son's soul came in above my head, came in and showed me all the generations before me, where I was in the lineage in the generations before. And it literally showed me the work that I was going to be doing to shift the lineage. And just at this place in the great unfolding. And so the thing is that, and I can't do that alone. And this is where Mike and I come together. And by bringing new ingredients and unwinding those ancestral pieces, life is saying, this is the next step.
Yeah, God. It's so attractive when you're in your oracle, because I
Mhm.
felt it even in that download. And that's what I'm talking about. And this is being in presence of the divine moving through our relationship in the different roles for us to like to receive, and then together be like, whoa, yeah, that we get to figure out how in our unique expressions of being different, how do we together want to weave that into practical new ways of being and practical new ways of setting up our life. It's so enjoyable and it's practical. It takes, like, when you share it, I'm like, whoa, that's so big. But it's actually so simple. It's like really learning how to make space for more of that divine wisdom to be here. But if we're in you, me consciousness, if we're dishonoring each other's roles, if we're exhausting all this energy of how our partner is an enemy, we've missed the mark and we're wasting our time. And there's no shame or criticism about that. That's part of evolution. But what we're inviting here is, let's grow up together. Like, let's actually understand that this person that you have been attracted to and choosing to co-create life with holds golden keys that is going to, and vice versa. You guys hold golden keys that unlock the life of your dreams. From these ancient texts, heaven isn't something that religion is made to believe. Some religions have made to believe is outside and after we die. It's right now. But we have to weave out of the programming of separation to experience it by honoring these two different roles.
And like, what a special sacred thing that we're raising a little boy.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. Like, it brings me just, whoa. We're raising a little boy in this context, as patriarchy is unwinding, and also as people, as there, I would say there's actually like a bit of a like hatred of the masculine, and like a like denying the masculine, and to come in and just like raise a little boy and say, you can have feminine and masculine traits. You can be, and we're going to be here, and we're going to love you, and we're going to figure out who you are as a soul. And, one, just as a brief example of what this looks like, in teamwork, our family is really working on, where does anger fit? And, it's interesting because we were starting on that journey, and then Mike went to London and was with Richard Rudd. And I don't know if you remember this, but I remember you memoing me about it. And I was like, it was amazing, because I was like, I'm living it right now. Is he talked about how these next generations are really going to have to learn about how to be with rage and anger, because as there's enough safety, we actually have to feel the anger and rage that hasn't been expressed about things, that hasn't been felt about what's happening on the planet, and that needs to be felt to be the fuel to create revolution and change. But first, where does it start? It starts with a little 2-year-old. And how are we going to allow anger to be here? What happens when we don't make anger bad? How do we guide it? How do we hold it? And so we're all three of us are in this dance of learning about anger in ourselves, learning about anger between us. What is our value around anger? How do we make space? How do we contain it? And in that, the culmination is how Mike and I hold our son in it.
it's everything, and it's the most humbling journey because, it's actually quite simple, but it's hard.
Oh,
There's so much
my
energy and
God.
stories and thoughts, and there's all these places that hook in what's still visible in our culture. Like, this isn't the norm. This is, if you're listening to this podcast and you're actually still listening, you are here. You are here for a really big part of the journey, is like to figure out how to be in joy and pleasure and satisfaction while integrating the new healthy blueprint for humanity, so that this is a more fruitful place to be and that it can go the distance for all the future generations. And what's so humbling about this is to bring it back down to a really grounded place, is the home. This all happens in the home first. This is where this really starts. And this process is, we need, this is our lived example of this, condensing it down. Cedar is the next generation in our home, and he needs to be held in a really attuned way by both of us. I need to show him from the way that I do it, the way that I work with my anger, the way we work with anger together. You need to model how to be with that kind of life energy so that he can still be in his power, but emotionally there and present. If we guide his energy well, he will become emotionally intelligent. That's this is our
And we're
aim.
watching it happen.
And it's already there. It's already there. Just to describe the evidence, our report card is he can describe more than one feeling he's having at a moment and describe why he's feeling that. He can attune and notice like what mama's feeling and what papa's feeling. He can actually come in and, if there's a need that he has, he can communicate it. If, he's feeling sad, he can go back to experiences in the day or something that's come up, or he's like processing like when our cat died. And he's 3.5. Like there's emotional intelligence there. We want that process to keep happening. And if we do that, he's going to be a man in the world that is safe ground for everyone he relates with. If that safe ground is there, that safe ground will translate into the permission giving for the feminine energy to birth the healthy blueprint. And he will have the capacity to care about that and then work in networks, in teams, in systems, in partnership to help that happen, to lead that, to bring it into life. So this order that we have is, if I can keep doing my work and give you emotional safe ground to be the full expression of your feminine and not have to be the masculine and the feminine, you're going to keep birthing new layers of the healthy blueprint.
And by the way, when we say like, for me to be the feminine, like we're not like, this is an alive little being. Like I am in my yang. I am in tone. I am working it.
You have lots of masculine.
I gotta be on my tippy toes at every moment. And what my role is as the mama with a little boy, what I'm experiencing is I have to hold him with so much love, so much tenderness, so much care, so much allowance of him to be a baby and to be soft and to feel all his little feelings. And then when he is out of line with his power, for him to feel like, hey, I'm big and I'm holding this container. I've got you, guiding the energy. And he's got to feel both of those from me, because that's where he's learning about the feminine being a constant connection, but also a force that is fierce. Yeah. To respect.
Yeah, he needs both of those. And the one I'd say I want to highlight the first one you named, because it's one of the biggest impacts is little boys can express so much force and power and life energy and like chaos and how they are in their bodies. But the part that's been missing in our culture, and this is important, there's studies that have now gathered the evidence that this is true. Little boys neurologically are more tender and vulnerable and sensitive than little girls. That's actually true. They are more vulnerable than little girls, which means they actually need even more tenderness than little girls
and patience
than they've been given.
Yeah.
And I've learned this with our little guy. There's a part I've had to keep working with in my conditioning of like around the sensitivity and the tenderness, but what a gift to feel that place that I missed in lots of places, to learn how to offer that and be it's just in reverence and gratitude that you satisfy that for him, because that's what creates emotional maturity. If little boys don't get that level of nurture and permission to be super tender while they're developing, remember, they're developing. It's going to take 26 years to have enough prefrontal cortex to be a wise adult. That's 26 years of permission to be tender and fragile in their neurology.
But can I say something about that too?
Yeah.
It's the both. And this is
Yes.
why people have struggled with little boys, because they're so tender and sensitive. And then the next thing, I'm getting smacked over the head with a metal shovel,
It's true.
and he's like, rah! Like, and so it's like,
It's true.
it's the both at the same time. Show me your fire, show me your fierceness, and I can contain it and I can guide it. And then show me your tender, and just to a case in point, just a simple way to help this land. He was a pirate the other day. I'm a pirate. I got poked. I got smacked with the sword. We're like, I'm guiding, rah, 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 and then all of a sudden, Mama, will you hold me? And it's like,
Both.
that's it. It's the both.
It is both.
That's the both. And this, and that's what little boys need. And really, what does that require from the mother? A really fierce oracle. Because she has to be able to feel the loving fierceness in her, where she can both meet with the love and then come out with the fierceness and the strength and the containment. Yeah. And if she's not if as a mama, you're not in your oracle and you're not supported to be in your oracle, that's going to be really hard to hold.
Yeah. And as the father, if I'm not in my regulated self, like safe ground within myself, I will see that energy as competition or something to fight against. And I see that with a lot of fathers where it's like fighting against it. It's actually learning how to be such a safe ground to guide it. So it's like holding all those tender places with so much reflection and reassurance of like, yeah, buddy, oh, totally. I have that part in me too. And like giving the permission of like, cause I'm his example of like a hero in his world. Like Papa's here, the hero. So I have to meet him in the like, yeah, I'm also tender and sensitive and I'm really powerful so that he can feel the both. And he needs to be guided in it. He needs to be shown how to use his power. So I have to be the safe ground as the father to learn how to guide that level of energy. Because in its early developmental stages, it just is chaotic. It's chaos.
It's without impulse control. So
no
it's
impulse control. There's no executive
We're the
function.
bank.
Yeah, so we're the bank.
We're the impulse control.
Yeah. And so this highlights how important these roles are, because if we can stay regulated in it, be in a right relationship with each other, we can hold him in the container, because it takes both of us in our gifting to hold it well. Then he gets to blossom in his unique journey of emotional maturity, and then to refine it back down again, because it's so important. Then that mature masculine now knows how to hold space for the feminine, which is life itself. It's like, yes, in relationship, but life, and welcome it. And then in that coupleship, we will create a better, more peaceful, harmonious world. That's it.
So
the bonus.
So what does this look like in daily life? First step, the oracle, the feminine. And you can do this in your dance together. You can also play around with just doing this sacred sequence in yourself with your own inner feminine, your own inner masculine, and practicing. I know I did lots of that before I was in relationship with Mike. And so that's the feminine, practicing communicating what you're seeing, what you're sensing, what you're feeling, communicating it to the masculine, and orient him as if he has no idea. Not that he's an idiot. Orient him like you need to map it for him. Orient him to it like, it's my job to communicate this very important information, and I'm going to do my very best to spell it out in a way that he can really get. And practice it with little things, with big things. And then for the masculine, either inside of you or the actual masculine in your relationship, your role is to practice breathing, softening, grounding, remembering the intention of actually listening, receiving, taking in what she shares. Just practice taking it in. Can I stay grounded? Can I breathe? Can I listen and be curious? And then once those two pieces have happened, the third step is coming together and really co-creating from there. And this, again, this isn't the masculine doing what the feminine says, you know, this is about receiving it. And then together, what are we going to do about this?
Insight and wisdom is going to come from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's moments and experiences of our life using these 3 steps we just gave you that you beautifully mapped out. There's moments where there's more weight on the wisdom that's moving through me on how to create more efficiency and structure and how we can kind of shift like our team members. And there's moments where then the weight is on your side of like how we should reorient of how we're being the seeder. And
or sometimes my oracle will have this whole thing and I'll deliver it. And then Michael just like take it in and I'll be like, well, yeah, but da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
yeah. And then it,
right. Okay.
yeah.
and that, but the thing is, that was great that I expressed it because it helped it move. And then Mike just said 2 sentences and it shifted.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
This is a dance of equality. This isn't superiority of like you have all the answers, that I have all the answers. It's honoring and making space for our roles are different. And when we learn how to bring them together, holy, actually like, oh yeah, actually that's quite simple. Yeah. Oh, this step. Oh, how to integrate that. Oh, what do we want to do with that? Oh, do we need to change something? Do we need to put that in the schedule? Like,
yeah. And it can also just plant seeds for later, right? So we want to thank you, first of all, for listening. Thank you for going on this journey with us. We're going to follow this episode up with an episode on the Oracle, an episode on the King. We're going to dive deeper into these so that you can really understand and what does it look like to embody that more. And we are so grateful to you, our listeners, for your support, for continuing to tune in, and for rating our show. When we get 5-star ratings, when we get comments, it helps us. It helps us reach more people. It's the thing you can give us. It's the reciprocity for us showing up in this way. And so in our gratitude, we now have a free gift for you. And so this is a beautiful free couples activation for greater resonance, clarity, and vision in your relationship that you can do as a couple. And so the way you can access this is go in, give us that 5-star rating, make a comment, and then take a screenshot of that. And then you're going to click the link in the notes below, and it's going to take you and follow the steps, and it'll give you your free activation.
Yeah. And it felt so good for us to co-create it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know you're going to enjoy it. And we're just so grateful for all the support, all your presence, you showing up. Just thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.